That should be warmed up. It's classic. The moment I start the tractor in order to plow, we start getting more snow. But I'm gonna get it done. We've got about, I'm gonna say 8 inches on the ground. So even if it drops an inch or two more, it'll help to at least start the process. It is cold outside. It's been 0 degrees Fahrenheit for the last few nights. Getting up into the low teens during the day or high single digits. We've been trying to keep this barn heated through this cold spell. And we've been doing that by having a little electric heater, 1500 watts, running 24 hours a day, and a 15,000 BTU propane heater running in the day, off at night. And between those, we've been able to keep it above freezing in here. Our end goal is not just to make ourselves more comfortable inside, but to eventually move the camper in here. And to do that, we want to make sure it's warm. With 0 Fahrenheit outside, we've learned that electric is not adequate in our current situation. So what can we do to change our current situation? Well, step 1, seal up the doors. As you're aware, we have pretty big gaps around our doors where air is just blowing straight through. So Robert's out there trying to seal up the exterior of that. So he's been doing a few things. 1, he's been cutting off the shims here flush with the sheathing. 2, he's been taping with painter's tape around the frame to protect it from spray foam. And 3, he's just going to basically install a cast off of a 2x4 right up against this so that it blocks the airflow and blocks the spray foam from coming out this seam. A couple issues with cutting these off. A few of these shims were not actually put against these, I don't know what to call them, big braces. They were just wedged between the jam and the frame, which is not a permanent solution. So as we trimmed these off, all the tension was released and they just fell out. So we've been pounding new shims in here that actually wedge between the jam and these brackets. And with all those done, I think Robert's pretty much ready to start closing this up all the way around. It is starting to stay warm in here. Came out a couple hours earlier and turned on the propane heater. Overnight, it didn't drop below 40 Fahrenheit, which is really nice. Looks like the concrete is finally warming up. Of course, we've kept the little toaster here running pretty much nonstop. Also this morning, I opened up the water tank and turned this heater up a little bit to cycle between 55 and 65 Fahrenheit, and that will contribute to the warmth of the overall building. The insulation is coming along. Robert's been filling all the large sections on the south wall here. Things are going pretty well. This insulation sat outside much longer than it should have. We had it tarped, but it still gathered a bit of moisture. As a result, our paper is not great. I mean, it's hideous looking, right? But I think that's okay. We're going to be putting a class 2 vapor retarder over the whole thing, potentially a smart vapor retarder. That way we can create a nicer air seal than craft paper would allow, even if it wasn't damaged. When we do that, I think we'll come along and cut some holes in this just to ensure the craft paper and final vapor retarder doesn't create any sort of compartmentalization of moisture and air. Robert's been busting his butt inside on the insulation, and he's made significant progress on the bats. Meanwhile, outside, we've had some fairly dramatic snow. Piles are getting big out here, but more importantly, we've learned a valuable lesson about roofs. So snow guards or snow bars go along the edge of the roof, and they keep the bulk of the snow from sliding off the roof and coming down. We don't have those installed. And I never really was that concerned because I figured it all hit, the lean-to roof. But we had a couple things happen over the last couple days of slightly warmer weather. The entire main roof emptied. As it emptied onto the lean-to roof, most of it did not go down and land, but instead sat on that roof, building up a huge thick layer of snow. That has the risk of doubling or even tripling the weight on that roof in a very short period of time, and we don't really want to take that risk. The other thing that we're learning is that as the snow falls and hits the ground, it compacts. So we had rain all last night, and the combination of all of that snow coming down and hitting the ground, compacting, plus getting rained on, has turned this into an absolute disaster.